This may seem obvious, but put everything in Times New Roman, put it in 12 font. You want to double space all of your text, standard stuff. Use 1-inch margins, all right? So like if your paper kind of like, if it starts here, right, that makes it look like you don't have that much to say and you're trying to make your paper look longer than it is. And it may seem sneaky to use 1.25 or 1.5 margins to increase the length of your paper. It's super obvious and people know and don't say anything, but we judge, we quietly sit and judge, which is something that professors are very good at. So don't do that. Use 1 point margins. If you don't have enough to say, that's fine. It's better than not having enough to say and trying to cheat the margins, as they say, to make something longer. Indentation, your tabs should be set to 5 spaces. And this last point I'll get to in a second. If you have the latest version of Word, maybe other, like, I try not to use Word because I'm an open source fanatic, but I believe in the current version of Word, there's actually an APA like setting where you can just put your thing on APA and it'll do all of this for you so you don't have to think about it. Because the default margins on the side here are 1.25, and you don't want to manually change your margins. It's like doing a typewriter, like pulling the margins out every time you write. It sucks. So look around for auto formatting options for APA. Now, don't put spaces between paragraphs. What do I mean? This is how your should look. I think when I was writing this the other week, I had a few too many whiskeys and just wrote all my favorite film quotes. So, you know, enjoy reading that if you like. But what do I mean? If your essay looks like this, I will be displeased. Sometimes people write like this. I think the first time people put in intentional page breaks and blank pages into their paper, their publication was a book, 18th century book called The Life and Times of Tristram Shandy. And you have like blank pages and blocks of just ink smeared on the page to evoke an emotional sensation. Don't do that in academic writing. There's a time and a place. And if you want to, for example, suggest that there is a different, I'm now discussing something very new that's completely unrelated. This is the place where you put in 2.1, whatever, Casablanca. This is where you do that to indicate that there's a change in tone or content. Don't do that by just adding in artificial stuff. Because again, what this looks like when we look at it and grade it is like, oh shit, like I was supposed to write 80 pages and I only wrote 72. Like, oh my God, how can I make this longer? And you just start adding in breaks to make it look longer. Don't do that. We know I did that. Everyone did that when they were young. We know how it looks. You can't cheat a cheater. Don't do it. And what else do I have? Page limit. Oh my God. Okay, so I don't know if this refers to any of you, but it's important. If, for example, I say that I want a 10-page paper, and you give me page 1, cover page 2 and 3, table of contents, page 4, a table, and then like, what's that, 4 pages, I think? And then like 4 pages of writing, then a bibliography, and like an affidavit that you didn't plagiarize. What you've actually given me is literally 10 pages. This is true, but in reality, you've given me 4 pages of writing, 4 pages of thought. We want, if we say 10 pages, you write 10 body pages, 10 pages of content, not including table of contents, not including funky tables that you find on the internet, 10 pages of ideas. Now, this is a funky thing with like North American citation practices that have sort of leaked over to Europe. Nominally, what I would like to use is word limits. That way, like, you can't just like increase your paragraph size or screw with the margins. But we are not doing that. We're working off of page limits. That's why homogenizing formatting is so important, so that everyone is given an equal amount of space to argue, so that everyone is, you know, using the same amount of, well, you can tell when people have less to say and too much to say. Yeah, don't do this. Don't cheat the margins. Just write, you know, express your ideas.